How applicable is presence in an emergency situation? We're going to discuss this. So I'm Jason for AwakenedEssence.com. 2.5 weeks ago, when I was biking into town in the morning, I was hit by a car. So I had the right of way, going around a big round, safe roundabout designed for cyclists, and I got collected by an SUV. The guy didn't slow down. Well, he did slow down, and then when he hit me, he actually accidentally panicked and he hit the accelerator. So I had my life flash before me. In fact, worse than that, I actually thought I was going to be mashed up and spending a lot of my life in a hospital or in a wheelchair, which is, I'd rather be dead. So I got to feel that. I got carried 20 metres, that's over 60 feet, and I fell off, rolled off the car with a bit of a thud and hit the road. And the car continued on for a little bit before he stopped. Now, me and the witnesses can't believe I didn't get mashed. I got a bunch of grazes, a few knocks, just starting to see the osteopath now because the body goes into shock and tightens up and things like that. Now, when I got hit by that car and I was doing what I could to be conscious and save myself, when I hit the ground, the first thing I did, like that, was I pulled myself back into presence. I found the nothingness and the stillness and the space that I am via my body. Which means, if you've seen enough of these videos, you know what's coming next. Have you already done it? Notice your hands. Notice your calf muscles. Be aware of your breathing. So as you hold your hands, your calf muscles, i.e. down there above your ankles, and your tummy breathing, can you feel the three-dimensional space, the grossness of it, your body, the hot, the cold. I've got a bit of winter sun on my face here. Cool breeze. I can hear the sea. Noticing my tummy, noticing the stresses in my body. And also feeling the sense of stillness, peace and bliss and nothingness that's always there because I've become accustomed to it. That's what abiding awakening is, abiding enlightenment. It never leaves you, it's instantaneously there. And it's measurable to the degree in which situations you can hold this clearly, solidly, and it's your instantaneous reaction. That's what I did when I was hit by a car. Not a pleasant experience. All the human stuff, the emotional stuff, the body stuff still happens. When I was on the ground, I was kneeling on my feet, my knees and my hands. I put my head on the ground. The first thing I had to do was I had to get my breath back. I've been bashed here somehow. It all happened so fast. Actually, it's a little bit tender still after 2.5 weeks. So I lost my breath. You know, you can't breathe in. As I was trying to get my breath back, I was anchoring into my presence, into my body, as I talk about in all these videos. And I was checking out my body parts to see if they were still there. We're talking basic stuff. Can I move my toes? Because you know what it means if you can't move and feel your toes, doesn't it? It means you're in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. And that's something I would not want. It happened to my best friend. Truly horrible. I was just checking my body. Feet work, yes. Backside, legs, fingers, bones. Okay, what's happening with my spine? Any sharp pains anywhere? Because when you've been smacked with such force, you actually go into shock. I was able to pull my consciousness into my body and actually not go into physical shock. The people that saw it couldn't believe that I was standing up, walking around, and they were all wanting to call an ambulance. I said, no, it's not needed. I'm here, I'm conscious, I'm fine. And the first thing I actually did was, after I got my breath back and realized nothing was actually broken, is I went over to my bike, got out my phone, and I took a scene video of exactly what had happened, where everything was, where the car was parked, the driver, where my bike was, where I landed, the whole thing, straight away, while it was dead fresh. I was consciously able to function because I brought myself into my presence. I was grounded in a body that had just been hit by a car and taken 20 metres and dumped on the road, and luckily not run over, luckily not mashed on the traffic island we both went flying over. So the body's ability and its survival instinct kicked in. When your survival instincts kick in, it's very, very easy to lose your conscious capacity to be connected. That's why I've done videos on the survival instinct, your behaviour patterns, your belief patterns, your things that trigger you. You know, all the people around you. You know, there's some things you can say and they'll just fly off the handle. It's one of their little buttons. We all have those, but each one of those is alive. It's the survival instinct. To consciously override that, come into presence, stillness, and feel the space, the stillness. And potentially, if you can, if you're deeply rooted enough, the nothingness that you are, while all that's going on, it's a good sign it's real. So this is how your awakening, your enlightenment, and all these things that people like to talk about is measurable. It can be measured. And as you master this practice of coming into your body, noticing your hands in the space and whatever else is going on, feeling that and the nothingness that's underneath. As you do that more and more and more, as I say, the habit kicks in, it works through your conscious, your unconscious, your subconscious, and blah-de-blah conscious levels under that. Labels are irrelevant. It gets more and more rooted into your being. The chooser becomes one with this. What you are becomes one with this, and the two are able to relate at the same time. So that's why you can hold presence and stillness while you're having extreme physical pain or hugely emotional arguments with someone. Yes, you'll still have emotions if you're a human being. They come through, they're signs that something needs to move, something needs to change. It's all good. Just don't be too destructive with it, that's all. But when you're in presence, it's a different energy. It's about getting clarity and taking things to a place that's hopefully good for everybody. The nature of anger changes when you hold presence with it, depending on what's going on. If it's too much anger for something that's small, then you might want to take a deeper look. Hey, what's really going on here? So that's where the inquiry also kicks in. So work with your presence, work with your stillness, work with the nothingness that you are and holding it throughout your day. So when something really nasty and horrible happens, like being hit by a car like I had, then you have the skills to function. Hopefully you have the skills to keep yourself safe and your body from doing horrible things like going into shock. I stopped myself going into physical shock. And then during the day and the next week or two, I could feel the emotional waves coming through and all the rest. And I was able to be with them. It's natural. So that's how you measure awakening, enlightenment and all those things. It is measurable if you are, one, honest about it. Are you truly being observant, and can you notice the nuances because you've practiced it enough? And are you taking responsibility? It's up to me and nobody else. My practice, my choice to choose. And yes, it is a choice because it's a conscious, it's an awareness application through your being to be here, regardless of your teacher or whatever systems you're using. But presence is what I talk about in all these videos. It'll fit in with all the other stuff. Although this is the fast way. Otherwise there'd be a lot more enlightened people on this planet, wouldn't there? Certain things wouldn't happen, but keep happening. So there we go. I'm Jason for AwakenedEssence.com. Any questions, send me an email or whatever. Come into mentoring. Make this fast. It's the habit. And having a good coach helps you. That's how you master it.